Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 8 of the Dragon Radar podcast. We are your hosts, Heeroh and Ajoten. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, my friend, and I'm ready for an 8th discussion. How about you?
I'm also looking forward to an 8th discussion. So let's get straight into it. Let's not waste any time and let's go straight in with Roshi's rant.
This is Roshi's Rant.
So this is Roshi's Rant, the first segment of the podcast where we dive in and talk about all things Dragon Ball. And today we're going to be talking about the different tournament arcs that have happened throughout all of the series of Dragon Ball, from original to Z to Super and everything in between. And we'll be talking about them and discussing which one we find the best, which one we think's the worst, and yeah. So, do you want to get started? Which tournament to you stands out the most?
My personal favourite is... I don't think you'll approve of the fact that that questionable whether it's a tournament, but to me it's definitely a tournament, is the Cell games. To me, it is definitely a tournament.
Right.
And I base that on the fact of there was an official announcement by Cell. He makes an arena.
He
There are
does.
direct contestants. It is televised. There are contestants that forfeit,
Yeah.
and then they move on to other fighters.
Okay, yeah, fine. It does fit the boxes of a tournament.
And it
It's
even has a name.
yeah, single elimination by death, and that's all. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. You got
No,
us there.
Goku, I give up. He
True.
forfeits.
I don't think Cell would have let him off though if that was the end of the tournament.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is actually my favorite tournament. Everything that happens in and around it is just, it's fantastic. Before I talk about why I think that's my favorite, what's yours?
My favorite is the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai tournament, which is the one that Goku wins. The one where he faces Piccolo in the final. But there's a lot of tournaments, especially in original Dragon Ball, which I know a lot of people haven't watched, which you really, really should. So for the actual martial arts tournaments, I've written them all down here, so I'm going to do a quick rundown of what each of them was. So the first one was the 21st. The story was all about how Master Roshi doesn't want Goku to win so that he keeps up his training. And that's exactly what happens. Master Roshi ends up winning it all. The 22nd is the one where there's a little bit of a time skip. Goku's slightly older and he gets to the final and is beaten by Tien. And then the 23rd is the one I've just mentioned, my favorite one, where it's the Demon King, well, not the Demon King, Piccolo Jr. tournament, where Goku finally gets his win, and I'll talk about that one more in depth in a minute. The 24th one is the one that Mr. Satan wins off screen. You don't really know about it, and it's also the one where the junior division is implemented, and Videl is the first winner of the junior division. The 25th tournament is the one where 18 throws it in the final to let Mr. Satan win. And then they all agree for the next few tournaments that they'll allow Mr. Satan to win. So 26, 27, and 28 all take place off screen, with everyone just agreeing to let Mr. Satan win. So, you know, Mr. Satan is at least a 4-time winner of the martial arts tournament, which is interesting. But yeah, them are all the martial arts tournaments that are run down anyway.
In terms of the, I'll be honest, I haven't seen all of OG Dragon Ball. You're well aware of this, but previous discussion I did check out the tournaments, and I have to agree that I agree. The Piccolo 23rd is the best one out of them, in my opinion. I think just everything about it is just better. I mean, you've got obviously Chi-Chi, you've got the Tien face-off, you've got obviously the end fight with Piccolo versus Goku, which is just fantastic. But I think it's cool because you still get the Goku Tien, and you still get a big bad fight. So it's not just like they're looking at Tien won the last one, so he has to be the big bad guy of the next one.
Yeah.
It's like, no. It's like, we can still give you that and resolve that, but you're still going to get a true bad guy.
Yeah.
And it's an actual bad guy, so it's not just like a face-off. There's an actual threat. And there's a lot of resolution to other stories. It's not just a Goku thing.
Yeah.
Because Tien also gets his resolution looking at the Crane School with Mercenary Tao. And basically he resolves his issues with them, which I quite like. Well, resolves. In other words, he whoops Mercenary Tao. So no, in terms of the other one, I do really like. A lot happens in it. There's a lot in there, and I do like that. And there's a lot in that has carried over into current Dragon Ball. Obviously, his marriage to Chi-Chi, the involvement of Tien, the involvement of Piccolo, all of that happened basically linked directly to that tournament.
Yeah, of course, because like, especially if you haven't seen Dragon Ball, you need to go back and watch it, firstly, because the original Dragon Ball is incredible. But out of the 3 tournaments that happen throughout OG Dragon Ball, the first one, the fights are still interesting and good. Like, there's the fight where Krillin is against, I forgot his name, I should have really written it down or remembered, but against a really fat, stinky guy, and he basically wins because Krillin doesn't have a nose, and that's how he advances. He beats him.
Is it Bacterian?
Bacterian, yes, that's his name. I should have remembered that. Yeah, but all of the fights in original Dragon Ball are actual martial arts fights, so the animation's great. But the story of that one was, like I said, it's just Master Roshi doesn't want Goku to win. So he goes undercover as Jackie Chan, and that's how that happens. Roshi ends up winning in the end. The 22nd one, it's all about Crane School versus Turtle School, pretty much, and Tien's introduced, so is Chaozu. Again, there's some interesting fights there with Krillin and Chaozu fighting. And the main fight, of course, being Goku and Tien, which Tien wins. But yeah, you've mentioned a lot about the 23rd one, and it is my favourite tournament out of all of them, because every single matchup has some sort of meaning. So I want to run down the individual matchups. So the first one was Tien versus Tao, which was great, because, it's Crane student versus Crane master's brother. So, there's all relations there. Everything makes sense. They both knew each other. And it was good to see Tao back again. And, that's great. The next fight was Chi-Chi versus Goku, which again, it's the reintroduction of Chi-Chi. Everyone's shocked to see that Chi-Chi returns from being this kid who was a little bit annoying to begin with, and now she's like a woman and she's still interested in Goku. And of course, that leads to Goku agreeing to marry her after the fight. There's the fight between Krillin and Piccolo, which is pretty good as well. There's Yamcha versus Kami as Shen, which is great, but of course Yamcha just gets embarrassed. But that's the comedy fight of the tournament. There's always got to be one, and that is the one. And it's also great just for, some difference to happen. You can't always have serious fights, and that's a fun fight, even if Yamcha does get embarrassed throughout.
I was going to say it's Yamcha as well.
Yeah, we talked about that already a few episodes ago. But yeah,
it is God, to be fair.
Yeah, yeah, it is God, but he's messing around with them, and yeah, he just gets embarrassed.
It's uncalled for.
Yeah. But also in the semis, you've got Tien versus Goku, which is, a rematch from the previous tournament. Lots of good action in that one, and of course Goku actually beats him this time. Then you have
that's actually that's the first time we see the multiform, isn't it?
It might be. I can't remember if he uses it in the finals of the previous fight or not. It might be the first time we see it.
Yeah, and I also like the whole weighted clothing thing, which becomes a staple.
It does.
It just becomes a staple of Dragon Ball. Basically, that as soon as Goku takes off the weighted clothing, Tien gets annihilated. Basically.
Yeah, I do like that. And then, of course, you have the matchup between Piccolo and Kami, which, is where Kami kind of reveals himself. He tries to use the Mafuba to imprison Piccolo, because that's kind of the whole arc where they're trying to stop Piccolo. So he uses the Mafuba, tries to seal him up in the vial, and that's obviously reversed, and Kami is trapped in the vial, and then Piccolo swallows the little vial, and you're thinking, oh, okay, Kami's trapped and gone forever. And that's not a disqualification in this tournament. Piccolo advances still, even though he's eaten the other competitor, but okay. And then in the final, of course, you've got Goku versus Piccolo, which this entire fight is just epic. It's a great fight. There's so many good things that happen. You know, Piccolo uses his giant form, and that's cool to see. And it's pretty cool how they do it, with Goku flying into his mouth to retrieve the vial to get Kami back, which is cool.
It's a long fight.
It is a long fight. It is a really long fight. I think it's close to like 50 minutes or something. Like,
I looked it up. I looked it up, and when I watched it, it's 50. I think it was 50 minutes, 18 seconds, or something like that. I was like, okay, strap in.
It's a long one, yeah. There's also the part where, you know, Goku's doing a lot of damage to Piccolo, and his arm is basically dead, and he decides to just rip it off and grow a new arm. It's like, okay, fine, yeah, if that's how you want to do things.
Again, that becomes a staple of the show.
Yeah, and a joke in Team 4-Star with the many arms of Piccolo. And
the thing about that I actually like about that is that what was I going to say is the fact that it's kind of, it demonstrates the Goku that he doesn't want other people getting involved. Because when Kami tries to help him later, after
let me do this on my own.
After Goku's managed to get him out of Piccolo's mouth and releases him, he tries to help, and Goku tells him no, and then lets Piccolo have a free punch because Kami punched him. It's like, that's just Goku in a nutshell, and it's like, this is what's going to happen for the rest of Dragon Ball.
Like, Goku letting his enemies recover slightly, give them a fair chance. It's like, don't show no mercy. Just one time,
kill someone, please.
But of course, there's other bits as well, like Piccolo shooting the beam out of his mouth to paralyze Goku's arm as well. And that final throwback to where Goku headbutts Piccolo out of the arena for the win. Good ending to the fight. Nice little throwback to the punch through the chest of Demon King Piccolo. Tries to do the same thing again, but it just knocks him out the ring. And that's a nice little throwback. And it's how original Dragon Ball ends with this tournament. It is the best one of the show. And it ended the entire show. It had to be good, I guess. And yeah, it was really good. Really liked it.
Yeah, because literally, that's like, it's nothing happens after that. It's literally just filler.
Yeah, and then it shows you Goku and Chi-Chi getting married, and that's it. That is it. That's how the show ends. So it is a really good tournament. And if they wanted to end the show there, like, at the time, I'm guessing they weren't planning Dragon Ball Z, or maybe if they were, who knows. But if they wanted to wrap it up, that was perfect. They did 3 tournament arcs. Goku doesn't win in the first 2. He finally gets his big win. He defeats his enemies, and yeah, it wraps up with him getting married. It was a perfect ending to Dragon Ball. Great. I
think it's because, like, Kami actually offers him to be Guardian of Earth at the end of the tournament, because he sees that, like, his compassion and everything. He offers, after having a Senzu Bean himself, after being crippled by Piccolo, he gives Piccolo a Senzu Bean.
Yeah.
And basically, Kami, seeing his compassion and everything like that, saying, "Do you want to take over for me?" Kami just doesn't want to be the Guardian of Earth. He's so lazy. He's trying to give it everybody.
I've been doing this long enough. Please, someone take it away from me.
And basically, and Goku just turns around and basically acts the way he always has, and he's just like, "No, Kami, this isn't me," and he just wants to run off on adventures all the time, and it's just, yeah. So he's just the he's always going to be the young boy who hops on the cloud and flies off on an adventure.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, yeah. And it literally, in this case, he does that, but he gets the girl.
He does.
Not that he ever wanted the girl in the first place,
He
but
was just hungry, but
managed
you know,
it.
he got it. And he also got a lot of food, so win-win for him, I guess. But going back to the Cell Saga, I do like that one. I still don't know if I would technically class it as a tournament, but it is. I understand it is good. I do like that as well, and it's a lot of people's favorite arc in Dragon Ball: The Cell Saga, mainly because of Gohan and his character development during that time. But there is a lot of good fights in there as well between Cell and a lot of different people, and his many transformations as well throughout.
I think the thing is, there's a lot of development there, and it's a culmination of a lot of what's been coming for multiple arcs. You finally get to see all the foreshadowing of Gohan and what he's become. Like it's basically since the Saiyan saga, it's been suggested that he is that powerful. It's why Piccolo took him in the first place. Since the headbutt of Raditz, basically, Piccolo saw something there. He trained him, and every time Gohan stepped up at some point and done something, and then we saw the one of the most iconic moments in Dragon Ball is that ending. Cell is a fantastic villain. He's brilliant. I thoroughly enjoy Cell as a villain. It's my favorite finisher is that finisher from Gohan killing Cell up until the Tournament of Power, when Goku used the Tony Hawk skate to knock out Kefla, when he rode Kamehameha, rode on a laser beam and blasted her out. It's so good. The grind, Kamehameha grind on the laser beam. It's too good. But before that, it was the best finisher in Dragon Ball before that. And it's just my favorite because, and I think I'm biased because I'm a Z kid. It's when I came in, and there was a lot of things I love about the Frieza saga and everything I love. But when we're talking specifically about tournaments, I enjoy, like, when I caught up and I watched the tournaments like we discussed I would, and seen everything, and I do like the things like the 23rd. I think the 23rd has a lot more on the 21st and 22nd. I think there's a lot more at stake, and there's a lot more in terms of character development. A lot more people are introduced, a lot more people get developed, in my opinion. But in terms of Z, I resonate a lot more with the Z characters because that's where I came in. And so characters like Gohan mean a lot more to me. And having seen his growth is why it's so important to me, I think. And I think that's why it's so impactful for me. So I think from a non-biased standpoint, the 23rd would probably take it. From a personal standpoint, I just love watching it. If someone was to sit me down and say, what do you want to watch in terms of which tournament, I would pick the Cell games each time because it's something that I just thoroughly enjoy. And I think the only thing I don't like is just like I think they kill him, like, not including the one time that he blows up and dies. I think they kill him 2 other times. Like, they blow his head off.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's the time Goku instant transmission his head off, and he just pops back open. Then this is the time Gohan deflects his Kamehameha, blows him in half, still doesn't work. It's like,
how do you
at some point he has to go down.
How do you win?
I think it would have been a bit better if they'd just done the one comeback. It would have had more impact for me. I would have probably liked that better. If the self-destruct and then he came back, I think I would have liked that. It still had an amazing effect, especially the first time, because I didn't expect it. I thought the bad guy was beaten. I never thought he would come back. I thought self-destruct means you die. Coming back and watch, and just Trunks just annihilates, just straight out like that, gone. and just to delete a character like that is like, usually it has more foreshadowing that it's going to happen, or something, or it precedes something, like Krillin getting blown up, like we previously discussed, things like that, like it led to the Super Saiyan transformation, but everything was happening so powerfully and so quickly that no one had time to register Trunks' death.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, whoa, that just happened. And basically Gohan just felt like it was his fault. And it led to Vegeta obviously taking on more of the fact that this is in fact his son. And he did the Vegeta thing, and he kicked off, and basically he nearly scuffed it for everybody.
Yeah, just like normal. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Really, Gohan should have just let Cell kill him, and they could have just wished him back with the Dragon Balls, and then it would have all been a lot easier. But
potentially, yeah.
Yeah. But the ending Kamehameha is fantastic, with Goku helping him behind him and talking him through it, like the speeches, the dialogue is fantastic. I just really enjoy it. The build up to the actual tournament itself, the training in the hyperbolic time chamber. There's that really haunting nightmare that Gohan has, which is really creepy.
With the bird flying through.
Yeah.
Oh no,
the one where
the other bit,
yeah, the one where Cell appears in the hyperbolic time chamber and murders Piccolo and Chi-Chi.
Yeah.
And I think it stamps on Piccolo's head. Yeah. And it's like, you spent too long in that time chamber, kid. You need some fresh air. Like, that's dark.
It is.
That's dark for Dragon Ball. Like, well, I suppose it's dark for Piccolo as well then. But yeah, I think I really enjoy it. The whole build up to the tournament as well. But I suppose that's kind of cheating because we're talking about the tournaments themselves. But I think again, it's my bias that carries it over. But I think if we had to say like the tournament's caliber themselves, I think the 23rd does take it.
Yeah. It's got everything you could want from a tournament. There's great martial arts stuff, especially. There's great fights between different characters. There's a lot of progression by characters. All of the matchups are good and make sense. And the finale with Goku defeating Piccolo is the cherry on top. It's a great tournament. But I do also like the Cell games. Cell games are good too. But yeah, what is your favorite tournament? Let us know in the comments down below. And right now we'll move on to our second section of the podcast, which is the Hall of Fame.
And now it is time for the Hall of Fame.
And now we're on to the Hall of Fame, where myself and Heeroh battle it out to see which one of us is worthy to get our opinion into the Hall of Fame this week. Now, last week it was Best Death, and let's see what the outcome of that is. Have you got the outcome?
I do. So it was Krillin on planet Namek versus Future Gohan, and the winner, with 59% of the votes, it was pretty even, is Krillin. He is entering the Hall of Fame. Well done, Krillin. You're a winner at one thing, and the thing you're winning at is dying. So well done. Congratulations. You have entered the Hall of Fame for Best Death in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, well done, question mark.
Yeah. I'm happy with that. That gives another win in my column, so I'm happy. Yeah, picking up wins. I needed it after the one before with Yamcha getting demolished by Piccolo, like 91% of the vote. Ugh, unnecessary.
I had so many votes. Can I not just carry some of them over into this one?
Yeah. This one was close though, 59%. I think it is the closest one we've had so far.
It was.
So yeah.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Very close.
It is nice to actually have a close one.
Yeah.
So for this week, we have decided to go with something more straightforward, something more simple, and it's the best look. So the best outfit in Dragon Ball. It doesn't necessarily have to be a gi or anything like that. We just think what we think looks best.
Yeah.
And as winner, I shall let you. You look very excited for this one.
I am excited.
As winner, I shall let you go first.
Yeah, okay. So I was thinking about this because there's obviously a lot of cool outfits in Dragon Ball. A lot of characters have good ones. And I was even thinking, like, alright, Vegeta in his original battle armor, that's pretty cool. And, you know, you've got Trunks in his getup. And this was a very close one. I almost picked this with Trunks when his first appearance, you know, when he's got the Capsule Corp blue denim jacket with the black vest, you know. That's pretty cool and badass with the sword. But the pick I'm going with, well, the best outfit in Dragon Ball is Post Boy Piccolo. That is my pick for best outfit in Dragon Ball. And there's reasons for this, okay? So if you don't remember, I'm going to break down what he looked like. So he's got the backwards cap on, he's wearing a purple jumper underneath a yellow t-shirt with Post Boy written on the front. So you can tell he's got style already. He's putting on layers, you know. He's not just putting on a shirt, he's putting on two shirts on top of each other. Alright? You know, he's obviously been hanging around teenagers too much, because you've got to remember, at this time frame, you know, Piccolo is only like maybe 3-4 years older than Gohan. So, you know, Piccolo is basically late teenager, early 20-year-old. So, you know, this style fits him for the time, you know. Him wearing the backwards cap, it goes for his age. So I'm completely fine with it. He looks great. And to finish this look off, you know, he's wearing the blue jogging pants bottoms and purple shoes. You know, the purple shoes to match the purple, like, long sleeve shirt that he's wearing underneath the yellow. What a look. What a look. Who knew Piccolo had style? I mean, you know, you see him usually with the white cape get-up that he's got with the purple gi. He kept that purple, you know. He likes his purple, you know. He's wearing the purple long sleeve. And
it's true, he does.
It's a good look for him, and I love it. And it's a shame it's a filler episode outfit. Just seeing Piccolo in a cap and normal clothing is great.
I remember where it's set.
It's the driving episode. Because Goku is also dressed up. He's wearing like a orange Hawaiian-ish style shirt.
Like, but when does it actually occur? Like which?
I think this is this just after the Cell Saga, but before the Buu Saga? I think that's the filler time zone.
I genuinely can't remember.
I think it's then. I'm pretty sure.
But it is like a it's definitely the most filler ever. But I love it.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great look, and it's never going to come back. It was definitely a one-off, but for the style points, Piccolo best dress, unbelievable. What a guy! What a style icon. Love it. But what was your pick anyway for best dressed?
My pick is the bad man himself, pink shirt Vegeta.
Oh my god, that was my other pick. That was my backup. I had it. This is going to be a good vote. I'm excited for this one. I'm excited for this vote.
Well, before I get into it, I would like to say my second choice. At first, I went serious and I went the whole Gohan Piccolo gi, and I was going to go proper serious and everything like that. But I thought, no, I want proper cool. The bad man Vegeta pink shirt is just brilliant. Post Namek, everything's gone. Everything's serious. He's got this evil person's come back to Earth. He's got now to wear. Bulma forced with a shower. He comes out and he's got nothing to wear, and he's walking about in this bright pink shirt. Bad man written on the back of it. Literally.
I think that was a custom-made Bulma special shirt, that one. Yeah. Just wanted to put bad man on the back.
He's like flying about. They're looking at me. Frieza's on his way back as this evil bad. And it's like last time he went to fight Frieza, he was in his battle armor and everything like that. This time he's turning up in this pink shirt. He's got his cold, evil look on. And he's just like, you kind of take him seriously.
Yeah. You can tell though, like, the style difference, because like he obviously knows nothing about style, even though it's such a good look. But he's wearing like the ugliest yellow pants that you can find. He's wearing green shoes which don't match with anything, And it's just like, what is going on? Pink, yellow, and green. Like, it just gets worse the further down you look, and it doesn't match, but it's such a good look, and I love it as well. That's why it was my backup.
If anyone's pulling off that fit, it's Vegeta, though.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just like Team Forster had so much fun with it, and just every single joke that they played with it just hits so well.
Yeah,
I love it. And every time I think back to it, it always gives me a chuckle, and it's just like it takes everything, all the seriousness of Vegeta, and it turns it on its head. And it's like, if you did it with any other character, it wouldn't have the impact that it has with him. And I just think it looks great because he's the Forever Scowl, the bad man. I think the bad man obviously makes impacts as well, like if it was just a basic pink shirt, but I just love it. I love the look. I think it's great. I think that's what makes it. So like I thought of that serious Gohan, and I thought, yeah, Gohan looks the part, especially when he gets blown up and he's fighting Cell later and everything. It's like, yeah, but it's not bad man, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, it was a coin toss. I was a coin toss away from between Bad Man and Post Boy, so I went with Piccolo just because his outfit makes sense, whereas Vegeta's like the individual items don't match at all. Piccolo's actually does match, and that's why I gave the edge to Piccolo. But it was so close between that two, so close. I think this is going to be a really, really tight vote. And
because people can't even vote. People can't even vote for their favorite characters because everybody loves Piccolo and Vegeta.
Exactly. And the thing is, I honestly think between the two looks, Bad Man is more remembered. But for the style, that's why I picked Piccolo. So I think it's going to be really close, and I am interested to see who wins this.
I would be very surprised if it's not close.
Yeah, it's quite funny that you also mentioned Gohan as your backup, because my other backup, I had a few here. I'm interested in the style of Dragon Ball, but my other backup is actually the Great Saiyaman. I really, really like that look with the green gi over the black, and I think that one looks great as well.
Without the helmet, yes. No helmet.
The helmet look, I do like the design of the helmet, even though the orange color doesn't match the outfit. But I also liked it when he was rocking the sunglasses as well, with the Super Saiyan hair, of course. That also looks incredible. So yeah,
I think a really good look is, and I don't think this is intentional based on when I kind of looked into it a little bit, is the training Gohan gi, which is the blue gi with the red belt.
Yeah,
and it kind of looks very similar to Chi-Chi's gi.
Oh yeah.
Or her outfit for back in basically the 23rd tournament. I don't think it's intentional, but it's kind of like, it seems almost a nice throwback. I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same as back when he was a young kid, but it looks really good on him as like but again, it's like it's just something that looks cool more than anything else, I think.
No, I agree. Like there's so many good outfits in Dragon Ball. Like other ones I was thinking of was like Tien in his green with the red stripe for during the Cell Saga. That was really good. And there's so many Desert Bandit. Yamcha is also incredible. I really like that look, and the entire outfit as a whole is really good too for him. So yeah, there's a lot of good outfits to choose from. So yeah, the fact that we've both went with meme outfits, I guess, is really quite funny, and I'm glad, and I'm really excited to see the vote on this one, because it will be close, and it'll be interesting to see who wins between Vegeta, Bad Man, and Post Boy Piccolo. So yeah, I think that's it for this segment. So go down below, vote for who you would like to see win and enter the Hall of Fame, and we'll see who wins in the next episode. But for now, we'll move on to the hot take.
Hot take.
So this is the hot take, the section of a podcast where I have scoured the internet to try and find a hot take about Dragon Ball, whether it's good, bad, ugly, evil, whatever, who knows? Who cares? Well, we care because we're going to discuss it and decide whether we agree with it or not. So, today's hot take is slightly different than usual because I found an image on Twitter about someone's opinions. So, I just want to kind of just say what I can see, and then we'll discuss it a bit more and talk about it. So, they've said, my dream Dragon Ball series would have Dragon Ball Z's story, OG Dragon Ball's fights, Super's soundtrack, and the Broly animation, like the Broly film animation style. What do you think about that? And what would your layout be and why, I guess?
I think, to be honest, some of the best fighting I've seen is arguably Broly. The Broly fighting is fantastic. It's 40 minutes or something like that of just beautiful fight animation. Some of the best I've seen from Dragon Ball, hands down. In terms of the music, I think that's tough for me. I'll be honest. I think it depends if you're thinking of intro or if you're thinking of actually in show music.
Yeah,
because HLR is like one of the classics.
it is. Yeah. I don't think you can class intro music. It's got to be like the show backing tracks and stuff.
In-game.
Yeah.
But the super music is excellent. It has emotional impact. I think the Black Saga especially has some very good music that I really like.
Yeah.
It follows through very well with the sinister nature of Zamasu and how he very much enjoys punishing mortals. I think the music resonates very well with that. Animation style. Yeah, I could never really get into that's what made me struggle with watching OG. Is I couldn't do the animation of OG. I think it feels a bit too dated for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think in terms of animation, I do enjoy the super animation. I think it's very clean. But then again, I have a special Z's animation holds a very special place in my heart. So I think music. I think it's weird, but Super, when you think about it, has done a lot of good stuff. When you think about it, in terms of story, I think Z's got the best story for me. But in terms of animation and fighting, I think it's getting to its peak now. I think it's at its peak now, in my eyes. And I know a lot of people may disagree with that view. And like we were saying with the 23rd tournament and everything like that, there were a lot of impressive things happening. It's where you were getting introduced to a lot of new moves and everything like that. But I just think that back then, when that came, you could not have 45, you could not have the level of combat that you saw in the Broly movie. I just don't, to that caliber. I just don't think it was possible to be as good as that, in my opinion. So I just think with the animation styles that are available and the technology that's allowing you to do that, without going too far into the CG realm, which I don't think they did in Broly. I think they did a very good balance of CG and animation.
I agree.
Which is my worry for the new film. I don't want them to go too far CG. I think they've done very well, and I think they have gone off on some of the story elements. I think that's where Super has let themselves down in some cases. I think for me, Z's where the story lies. Super's got the rest. But again, unfortunately, I don't know enough about OG, if I'm honest, to really pull the rest of it into it. I would have to leave that in your capable view.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess. So what you're saying is, let's just lay them out. So for story, which one are you picking?
Story Z. Yeah, so story is Z for me. Fights, super.
Yeah, music.
Music is, again, probably super.
And
the
animation
third one
style.
was animation style is probably, this is a tough one. It's bouncing between the two.
Yeah.
I do think Super's very clean, but I am biased towards Z, and I think I prefer Z's because of where it holds a special place for me.
Yeah.
And like I said, Super's very clean and everything like that, and I do like it. I couldn't get into OG because of how dated it was. I think if I'd watched it originally, I may have got the nostalgia from it that I've got from Z. Because when you look back on Z and you see like the size of the foreheads and everything like that, it does look kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
But to me, that's what Dragon Ball is. It's like a lot of animes, they don't look 100% like people. They all have adapted, like they all just look stupid in some way. So they don't. So that's just Dragon Ball to me. So that's pretty normal. So to me, that's what Dragon Ball is. So I imagine for you, I'm going to take a guess, and I wouldn't be surprised if you said the animation would be OG. So mine leads into 2 Supers and 2 Zs.
Well, you'll be surprised. So I'll start with animation since we mentioned that first. The animation style I like the most. So you mentioned OG, and I do like OG, and Dragon Ball Z kind of upped that a bit more. I do prefer Dragon Ball Z's animation over OG's animation, just because they kept it the same style except made it slightly better. Then in Super, we've all heard the arguments about some of the episodes being really bad animation, where they were just rushed and the characters look bad and stuff. But if you compare as a whole, if you compare like the good episodes of Super compared to the good episodes of Z, well, from any episode of Z, I guess, there's a very, very distinct difference. Whereas in Z, there's a lot of shading on the clothing. They really spent a lot of time on each individual frame. Whereas in Super, it's a lot more simplified, but more colourful, and everything stands out a bit more. Z is gritty and sharp and, that powerful animation that you're used to, whereas Super is a bit more light-hearted, friendly animation style, which still works for the fight scenes and, well, the entire show, but it is completely different to Z. There's no comparison. But the animations of the film as well, especially Broly, is just like an upped version of Super. They spent, because it's a movie, of course, they spend more time on the movie making sure absolutely everything is perfect frame by frame. And they threw in a bit of CGI, which I personally don't mind. I don't mind it. So for the animation style, I'm going to have to go with the movie, like the Broly movie animation style, just because I know it's impossible for them to do the show weekly episodes in that style, but it is, to me, the best animation because they have that more time. If they spent the amount of time they spent on the film on each individual episode of the anime, by far it will be the best animation, 100%. I think that's hard to argue.
Oh yeah,
so,
obviously.
Yeah, so
I think that's the thing. Like, when I was picking my animation choices, obviously I was forgiving the errors. I was going by the majority. Like, everyone knows the mistakes that were made. They're quite obvious, but you could say like 90% is very clean.
Yeah.
So yeah,
of course, yeah. But I do like Super's animation, but the film is just the show version, but upped for theatrical release. So I'm gonna have to go with the animation of the films, which would be great. For the story, I'm gonna go OG Dragon Ball story. The arc progression from the very start to the very end of OG Dragon Ball, so many things happen, so many things change. You see the main character grow through time, becoming from a kid to a teenager to a young adult. All of the arcs that happen in between with the Red Ribbon Army, with Piccolo, and everything else that happens, him meeting Kame for the first time, him climbing up the Korin's Tower, meeting Bulma, all of that stuff, him interacting in the city, going from like a a forest child into like learning how to act in public. All of the tournament arcs, everything in between, everything about the Dragon Ball original story is great. Every arc is fun, and there's good moments. There's powerful moments with fights. It's lighthearted, and I do think they try to bring that back a bit in Super, whereas Z was very much focused on being serious and very focused on the fights. Super did try to bring that lighthearted feel back to it, which I really enjoy. But they got that from original Dragon Ball. Original Dragon Ball was the perfect mix, I think. So I'd love to see that story and the arc progressions like they did there as the story choice. For the fights, I'm gonna have to go with probably Z. Probably Dragon Ball Z fights. They do have some really good fights. The Broly film fight was incredible, of course, but some of the fights in Dragon Ball Z are unforgettable. The entire fight with Frieza and Goku, the fight with Goku and Vegeta, all of the Cell Games stuff that happens. Every character pretty much throughout Dragon Ball Z has a moment to shine at some point in a fight. There's cool moments, cool special moves. Like, I am a huge fan of the original Dragon Ball, and I really, really like the martial arts fights that happen. But as far as special technique goes, there isn't too many compared to in Z. Like, there's a couple of things here and there which are great and they're good to see, that stand out. The Kamehameha, of course, but as far as interesting like beam moves, there isn't really any apart from the Kamehameha. So yeah, with Z, every character pretty much has a beam move as well as fighting moves as well. So it kind of doubles the amount of things that can happen in a fight. So I'm all for Z's fight. And for music, I'm also going to have to go with Dragon Ball Z. It was close for me though, between Z and OG Dragon Ball. But Dragon Ball Z, there is so many good backing tracks throughout. Obviously great ones in Cell Saga with Gohan at the very end. But throughout all of Dragon Ball Z, there's so many moments. You could go back and watch any episode of Dragon Ball Z, I think, and just from the music alone, you know what's going to happen if you've already seen it. The music makes the show, and the music in Z especially is incredible, and I love it. So yeah, those are my 4 picks, I guess. The story of OG, the fights and music of Dragon Ball Z, and the animation style of the film. Yeah.
I think with this take, I don't think there's a way to say it's a good take or a bad take or anything like that. I think this is just an opinion take. Yeah. I think unless someone's locking in everything to one, because I think every single one has its strengths. I would say that each one definitely has something where it shines. And I think to say it doesn't wouldn't be fair to each part of the show. I think every part, but yeah, I mean, the fights in Z are brilliant. It was like we were talking about this in the last podcast when I was I think it was the last podcast when I was talking about the Gohan fight with the androids, and it was like how much I loved the fight. And it was some fantastic choreography, which is a robbery of why he should have won it. It's great, and like in the choreography itself, you see when he's beaten before he's even beaten. So it tells a story, which is what you want in a fight. A fight's great if they're impressive punches, but if your fight is telling a story, then your fight's doing what it should. And that's something that I like about the Broly fight as well, is you see Broly's escalation as well. You see him becoming more and more stressed, and he's becoming more powerful. But for instance, you see the fear in him when Vegeta turns Red God. You see the stress in him as he fights. So he's not just a mindless animal attacking. He realizes that something's not right, and he obviously does escalate, and he becomes ridiculously strong, and he catches up. But again, it is telling a story throughout the fight. But you're right. In terms of impressiveness, and I think the choreography of the fights I prefer in Broly and everything like that. But there is definitely a story in some of the Z fights that are very, very impressive.
Yeah, and I was just thinking there as well, if they just decided, let's remaster original Dragon Ball, but in Dragon Ball Super's art style, I honestly think just because of the story alone, that will be the most popular Dragon Ball series. Because a lot of people haven't seen original Dragon Ball and they don't give it a chance because of the art style. And I think if it was modernized, then people would love it because it's the story that makes the show. And the only reason Dragon Ball Z happened is because original Dragon Ball was so popular. So people really need to give Dragon Ball a chance. And I would love to see it remastered. I think that would be so good. I would watch the entire thing again, definitely.
I don't think the story's outdated either.
No,
I mean,
it's not. It's really good.
Back on it, I mean, like I said, I've not seen all of it. I've seen fair chunks of it. I've seen large amounts of it. But I can honestly, I've never seen it full on start to finish. But I've seen large amounts of it. I'm confident enough to talk through the story of it. And there's definitely enough story there. You wouldn't say this is dated or boring or anything like that. Yeah. Like, there is a hell of a story there. Like, the 23rd that we've said, like, why we enjoy it so much is how much happens there, how much character development there. Literally, if you were to turn around and in the next arc in Super, is like an origin story of how Chi-Chi and Goku met, and you were to tell the 23rd, there would be such a large, like, arguably 50% or more of the audience would have no idea what the 23rd tournament is in any way, shape, or form. And I think it would be very interesting to see. And they would get to see Piccolo fight, and they'd be fascinated watching Piccolo and Goku fighting. And they'd see Tien, and he'd actually be actually holding his own against Goku, thinking, wow, Tien was just this guy who got kicked out at the Tournament of Power, and he's actually fighting Goku. And it's like,
and he wins.
People would find this really, like, they would find stuff like this really interesting because it's not got the point. Because in Super, now you rely on Vegeta, you rely on Goku. Basically, like, the new film's going to change that, but only because Goku and Vegeta are busy. Basically, that's what they've had to say, that they're busy. So really getting to go back to the root of things and seeing before things escalate to the level that they're at now, I think people would really enjoy that. And in the art style that you've got now, I think it would look really good. I think it would look fantastic.
Especially just because a lot of people won't even know that Tien and Yamcha were originally bad guys. Like, people just think, especially if they start with Z, they'll just think, oh, these are just Goku's friends, I guess. And that's it, which they are, but they didn't start that way. Like, everyone Goku meets becomes a friend. Like, even Krillin, he wasn't an enemy, but he was like his rival for a good portion of the first time you see Krillin. Like, Krillin isn't an instant friend or anything. He's his enemy, he's his rival who he's trying to be stronger than. And Krillin is obsessed and jealous of Goku to begin with until he realizes that Goku is friendly and a light-hearted guy, and he begins to trust him and open up to him more. So to see everything in Dragon Ball Super's art style would be incredible to me. And just everything that plays out is so good. That's why I've had to pick original Dragon Ball for the story, because there's too many things. Like you mentioned, they rely too heavily on Goku and Vegeta now. In original Dragon Ball, Goku doesn't win until the very end. Every arc he's losing, and whether that's to Master Roshi or to Tien or to Piccolo or to whoever, he is constantly losing, and he doesn't get a win until the very end of the show. And they just can't do that anymore because there's always someone big and badder who he has to beat. But that didn't happen in Dragon Ball. He constantly lost until the very end.
It's like a previous hot take, isn't it? Where it's like, Goku, there's always a bigger bad and stuff like that. Like, yeah, there is always a bigger bad. We've said that there's always going to be a bigger bad, and there has to be. But like, this would be a nice acknowledgement of that, of back to of when things were simpler, and I think that could be good. I think in terms of the take, I don't think it's a good take or a bad take. Yeah, I think the question it poses is a very good question. It's a very good topic that people should talk about.
Yeah.
And I think we've had a good talk about this, and I think like, even though we have quite different outcomes on it, I think things we've raised are
personal preference.
Like in terms of like the fight, we didn't pick the same thing, but even though our choices, we still agree on how good they are.
Yeah.
So I think we can appreciate our choices, even though they're totally different. And I think that's what matters.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree, but I like the take.
Yeah, I like the take. It's good for discussion, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone can really argue with anyone that like anything that's picked, because there is no right or wrong answer. So I like it. And yeah, we've both given our thoughts on what we like the most and what we would have if we were making our own like perfect Dragon Ball series, I guess. But yeah, I think it's time to wrap up the episode there. This episode of the podcast. So what a way to end it.
I think
we're ending it on an agreement that everyone can be happy. What a way to end.
Well, I mean, there's only been one disagreement so far. One out of it isn't bad. Back to agreeing, and I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take that as well. So let's wrap it up there. Hope you all who watched and enjoyed it. If you did, please like it up and subscribe down below. Check out our social medias. Vote on the polls for the Hall of Fame. And other than that, we will see you all next time.